Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. I'm shocked. There are like hundreds and hundreds of videos in this series, and I haven't done a greatest recordings ever for the Symphony fantastique. It's just that Berlioz is just one of those guys. Everybody respects him and admires him for his originality, his daring, his vision, and then we kind of forget about him. Because he doesn't really fit anywhere. He's such a archetypal, romantic, genius weirdo that it's just hard to keep your brain wrapped around him. Other people don't have that problem. It's my problem. I don't know. But it's an issue. I have done the greatest recordings ever for other Berlioz works, but not this one. And this is the iconic Berlioz work. And the greatest recording ever is Charles Munch, Boston Symphony, his second recording, 1962, just as he was leaving the Boston Symphony, one of his last recordings with that orchestra, if not the last. It was really an amazing time. He remade his iconic 55 Daphnis and Chloe, and he redid the Symphony fantastique. He ended as he began. And Munch is simply the greatest Berlioz conductor ever, I would say. Really? That we have, who recorded a substantial body of work. Colin Davis, of course, is up there, really up there. And it was a very wise move of him to champion Berlioz, which he did extremely successfully. But, he recorded the fantastique 3 or 4 times, I think, 4 times. Munch did it 4 times, I think, or something like that. But this is easily the best. It had the best sonics, the best playing, and, of course, the best interpretation. And, the Symphony fantastique is such a tough work. Everything Berlioz wrote is difficult. The reason Berlioz is difficult is because he follows no preset sort of formal plan. Everything he does is some kind of weird hybrid of something or other, number one. Number two, his music has dead spots. I say this knowing that the Berliozians, or the Berliozolutions, whatever they're called, are probably going to, call down the wrath of something on me for saying that. But Berlioz has dead spots. He needs to be kept moving. And conductors, for reasons that passeth understanding, as far as I'm concerned, seem to have trouble with that idea. The slow movement of the Symphony fantastique in most performances is an ordeal to be endured and gotten over as soon as possible. Munch gets through it in less than 15 minutes. That is a big, flashing, honking alarm siren and red light for other conductors. Don't take longer. Performances are out there. They do, and they're very lovely. I'm always speaking in generalities here. It's not that you have to rush. It's that the music needs to always seem to move forward. And Berlioz doesn't always make that easy because he writes moments of great stillness and strange harmony and widely separated instrumental lines. They seem to want to come to a screeching halt. But halt you mustn't, and Munch doesn't. So that's one of the great things. The other thing that Munch brought to Berlioz was his own frenetic personality. It was similar to Berlioz's, I guess, because there's a wildness, an indulgence in craziness, in the grotesque, and the just sheer physical thrill of making an alarming sound. It's all here. The punchy accents, the offbeat rhythms, all these things that constantly keep you tripping forward. Berlioz should always keep you on the edge of your seat. You should never quite know what's happening next. And even his tunes, they don't sound like other people's tunes. They're longer and odder and strangely shaped. And the idée fixe from this piece. Do 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 do. It's a melody unlike any other melody you've ever heard. And every time it comes back, it's a little bit different because it's taking on different transformative shapes, because this is, after all, a symphonic representation of a narcotic-induced drug trip, an opium hallucination. And it has to have that hallucinatory quality. And Munch brought that to his Berlioz, all of his Berlioz, not just the Symphonie fantastique. I mean, the March to the Scaffold it's got to be, on the one hand, grotesque, on the other hand, sort of high-stepping French Napoleon revolutionary fun and frolic. And of course, the Witch's Sabbath. Again, timing is crucial. Munch gets through it in just over 9 minutes. That is really, really good, because this is a finale that also has dead spots, and it all simmers down, and you get the dies irae with the bells going in the background, and then you've got one episode after another. And what you need to do is unify all of those episodes, create a constantly moving narrative. It's cinemascope. They're interspliced scenes, one after the other, and they have to seamlessly blend and move forward, even though they're hugely different in sound and texture and orchestration and all of that stuff. Munch was a master at. And this has been really the iconic Symphonie fantastique since the day it came out, and so it remains. It's incredible how many recordings there are of this piece and how bad so many of them are. And in order to really understand the genius of Berlioz, he's got to be performed fabulously. He demands that of his performers and of his listeners, that we give it the attention, that the music deserves, if the performance is worthy of us. And Munch certainly is. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.